Hello and welcome to video 3 of my series on flames. If you haven't seen videos 1 and 2, I'd encourage you to go check them out. Video 1 shows the basics about putting a design on. Video 2 shows you about adding layers and getting definition in those layers. And you can do those with any car, fully upgraded or not. This one is going to be specific to fully upgraded cars, including the chrome paint that's currently underneath this. Chrome paint is the shiniest. So, there's so many vinyls here that as I'm going to be lowering vinyls in the list, I'm just going to fast forward those parts just so I can make this shorter for you. So you go to Patterns and Gradients, and there's two ways you can add some popping to this. I'm just going to get that close to where I need it to be, and I'm going to now drag it down in the list. Alright, we got it to the bottom now. So right there you can see it adds this kind of cool glowing effect. Now if I change the base color to a dark blue and then change my gradient to a light blue, I get a different type of a glow. And you can do that with many different colors. Let's go back to black. And then change this to, like a light green. Almost get this kind of, well, to me it looks almost like a haunted effect. Not necessarily that's what it is, but I'm going to change this back to blue for now. Okay, so that just makes those red flames pop out just a little bit. Not too much against the dark blue. Almost the glowing effect is almost better. Adding the black to an area like this right here can help it to pop out a bit. So let's do this area, add some black. I'm going to use the rounded one. Well, I'll show you why. If you try to use this one here, I'll get it close. I'll drag it down to the bottom of the white. That won't take long to do that one. By the way, before you do a lot of messing around like this, you really should do a cloud save, because sometimes it gets glitchy and your design gets wrecked. Okay, so look at the problem that we get here. You see there's a really bad transition of that vinyl. Now that vinyl's already in place in the list where we want it. So here's a really cool feature you might not know. Select the vinyl and switch it out. There, it's in the proper place on my list right now. So now I'm going to adjust this, and I need to have this in mirror. So now I can just move it over a little bit, and let's just see what it does here. So you see it helps that to pop out just a little bit. You can increase the effect or decrease it, whatever you want to do. Makes it stand out a bit. My blue isn't coming through. That's okay, we'll fix that later. I'm going to add the same effect to the yellow flames here. Now I just got to drag that one down in the list. Now remember, you need to go underneath the black vinyls too, just to make sure you don't lose the definition, especially if you want to do something like this, where you want to add some transitional effect. It doesn't work so good with yellow on yellow, but I'll show you that later. You can get kind of this interesting glowing effect. Again, black helps to just pop that yellow a little bit away from the red. So you could add this to various areas of the car if you wanted to. I'm going to strip this car down now to show you how you can add some transitions, kind of classic transitions. Like classic transition is going yellow, orange, red. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. I'm going to strip the car down. After we're done with this car, I'm going to show you a few more and explain how I got the effects. Alright, so there's our car, really stripped down. And I'm going to use this here to get that classic transition effect. And I might need to use more than one. So first I'm going to apply it to the front. And you got to check, see if I do it while it's like this, then I'd have to do mirror mode and I'd have to do a few of them. And that's okay, but it can be really hard to line them up sometimes. And I'd have to use more than two. If I do it on the side and use paint through, I can get the same effect here without using as many vinyls. Alright, I changed it to black just so I could see what I was doing easier. I gotta fix, you know what, I better do some patches really quick here. I had done some patches in video 1 and then I ended up undoing them as I got into the other videos. Paint through, level the car, choose the right color. There we go. Haha, didn't have paint through done. Alright. Okay, so we've got that vinyl selected. Remember the trick? With that vinyl selected, click in an empty space, select the same vinyl. It's got the exact same tilt and size. So that's going to make it easier to line it up here without having a lot of a mess. There we go. So we're getting some of that effect. Now we're going to use just a basic square to cover the very front. I can change the size now. I don't want to change the tilt too much, but a little bit. There we go. Okay, so there you go. You're seeing some of the transition already. Lots of vinyls to play with, so I could also do the same effect with this one here if I want to extend the effect a bit. Neat thing about mirror mode is it doesn't matter if your car is level. So you can add more of this fireball effect if you want to. Same with on the roof here. Let's add some fireball effect here. Although we're going to run into a little bit of a problem here. I'll show you what I mean. Using mirror mode when a car's got an antenna creates a problem. So you have to use paint through. You just make it bigger, and you might have to use more than one. So I'm going to do this, it's kind of strange. I'm going to do one that way, and then do one this way. Kind of cover up that effect. So you can see we kind of get this interesting, I'm enhancing the fireball effect, and now I'm going to add more of the glowing feature underneath this one. And then we drag that underneath the roof vinyls, which I think are the ones that are at the very bottom that have been messing me up a little bit. There we go. Now you see I'm not under the black one. There we go. Now that adds the definition. I'm adjusting size and placement there. A little too much. There we go. So that's good there. Good for at least you can see what I'm going for here. Same thing with the hood. If we do this, do it on quite an angle and paint through, it goes all the way across. So let's just see what that looks like as we line it up here. Again, if I don't go under the black, you don't get the same definition out of it. And then I could add another one on the side here, just to increase that transition. I'm going to make it bigger and then drag it further away. Again, you see some of the effect here. Alright, so there's an interesting design. If you want to go back, oh, forgot to have the paint through on that one, obviously. On the side vinyl, paint through. Haha, and then we weren't level. Interesting. Level the car. There we go. Nice and level. If you want to make that bigger, you want to extend the effect a little bit, you just got to lower the vinyl. Again, if you have it too high, it really shows up badly. So you got to line it up with that, with the flames. So I'm going to extend that a little bit. Alright, so now let's go back to our black here, because there's lots of ways you can do this. And change all these. Well, first of all, that's what it looks like if it's blue. Nothing wrong with that. Change it to white, and we're going to get this kind of faded gray effect. And nothing necessarily wrong with that. Go to light green, and you kind of get what I'm calling the haunted effect. And maybe I'm just saying that because I'm using so many flaming skulls. I don't know. It's all kind of cool, though. Alright, I'm going to revert some of this so I can show you how to finish the transition effect. So now I'm going to show you how you can extend the effect to the side here, the transitioning that we were doing. For this, I'm going to make sure I got mirrors on, mirror mode. If you use this here, you're going to end up with a problem. So let's say I try to extend the yellow by using that. You can see the problem there already. You get this ugly transition that's really hard to deal with because this has a hard edge to it. So then this one's better for this effect, and you end up just having to use more of them because you have to go a ways with this. So it just depends how you want to do the effect. Already that gets me far enough, I can get over there with that. And you end up just adding a whole bunch of these. And I've got enough vinyls to play with. You know, it's pretty hard to do this with less. I want to get the real cool effect here out of this. And this is why sometimes you see my designs having a lot of vinyls in them. You could stop whenever you'd want to, of course. Just going to kind of complete the effect here. And a little bit of a... Sometimes you need to use paint through, sometimes you can get away with mirror. Just whatever works for you. Okay, so there's an interesting little effect that we can get onto this thing by completing the yellow transition. So there you go, I hope you like those ideas. As I mentioned earlier, I will now show you more cars from my garage and explain how I got the different effects. So here's my over-the-top Bugatti. And I even added some white into the transition. It's interesting effect on the hood there. I started this before I was fully upgraded, and it looked okay, but you see all these vinyls on the side here. There's several different types of reds and yellows. Between every single one of these, I've got a transition layer. You see that? And so if you don't have those, you don't get the definition. So this really helps to add the definition. And I kind of love the wraparound effect of the flames on the back here. So this one's it's kind of a fun one for me. That's my Bugatti. Here I tried something completely different for me. I first of all did a red base coat, and then I did yellow flames with lots of red transitions. So it kind of made it look like the flames kept coming in from various different areas. And it's this interesting effect on the car. Obviously it took a lot. I've used all the vinyls on here. Again, the wraparound looks really cool. And sometimes the gloss is just a little bit too much. Sometimes if you want to, I mean, it looks cool in a race, but for me to really show you what I'm doing here, there you get a better look at the flames. You can actually see how the design worked. So if I click on one of the transitions, you can see how they help to separate the various layers. I'll make one. See there, you can see there's a transition. There's another transition. So you see how I've used them, and then you just have to put them behind the right flames. Now let's go back and make the paint. Again, it's the chrome paint there. If you don't have a fully upgraded car and you really want to do a design and there's an customization sale, I always buy chrome paint. So there's that interesting effect. Alright, now don't cringe too much. I did this to a Beamer. So I did kind of my traditional flame job, traditional flames, white going to red, and then I've got my glowing effect. Then I changed it on the back. I actually added another transition where it goes to the chrome black look. And this is the first time I did flaming tailpipes. I find it kind of a cool effect, especially when the smoke's coming out of it. Lots of layering here. Really though, just 33 of the 50 vinyls. The way you make this pop, the tailpipes here, is you put white behind there. See, without the white, it doesn't show up that much. But with this behind the fire, it makes the fire pop. What happens if I change that yellow? It looks really bad to my eyes. So anyways, there's my flaming Beamer. This Sesto Elemento is all about layers. Lots of layers. So there's lots of depth and layers to those flames. And same with the roof. Really interesting layers to me. So that's done through a combination of some black. So let's see here. So I've got some blue behind the flames, you see that. And then I'm using black. So the black, I'm putting that between different layers again, just to help it to pop out a bit. Not a lot, but you can see I've used all vinyls on this design. Also because I added that, which is kind of interesting to me. I like the glowing effect behind that. That's actually not done with too many vinyls. Oh, gotta go to the top of the list here. Ooh, I do not want to erase any of these vinyls. This was not an easy design for me. Apparently I'm hiding something. I didn't realize I did this. Okay, so there, that's one red skull and one black skull. So the red skull is in mirror mode. Black skull is under it to add some definition to that. So it's kind of a cool effect you can do. I really like this car. It's an interesting one here. So my SESTO ELEMENTO. Here's another Beamer, but this is a non-traditional flame design. First of all, I got some really cool stretching out of some of these vinyls. But on the sides, I decided to make it on fire from the ground up. And I kind of like how this worked out. So there's another option that you can do. You don't always have to do flames going horizontally. You can do vertical flames, and it's an interesting effect. Also, to get the fading effect along the bottom of this one, I was able to do that with not using a lot of vinyls across the bottom, because I'm gonna light this up. That's one vinyl doing the whole side. I'll make it something really obvious to see, a bright green like this. So because I have it going along on an angle on the side there, it just spreads that out across the whole vehicle. So I could elaborate on this design if I wanted to. I also have some dark blue on the hood, so this one was all about a vertical transition effect. Just more ideas for you to check out for yourself sometime. I kept this Viper kind of simple, but it works. Not a lot of transition effects at all, but a really cool effect there on the spoiler on the back. And just some nice traditional looking flames. And sometimes that's all you need. Again, the wraparound on the back here, that's not traditional. But I like it. That's kind of fun. So that's the end of my tour. I hope this gives you some great ideas for doing your own designs. Thanks for watching and happy racing.